Diablo IV has been a long time coming, as Blizzard has tried to fix past wrongs by taking its time and ensuring it's fully ready before bringing it to the masses. And they got very close. There have been some hot fixes and nerf, some connection issues, but overall it feels like a very solid release. I've been playing Diablo IV for about a week now, and it's taken over my life as much as a substance addiction would. I think about Diablo at work, in the shower, and even when my girlfriend is saying something to me. Diablo's story can be about as simple or as complicated as you like, depending on your inclination. It's either a sprawling tale of human greed and demonic insurrection, or a skip-the-dialogue shortcut with very, very cool cutscenes. I thoroughly enjoyed the story and never skipped a dialogue. The voice acting was amazing, and I felt like I was watching a well-produced movie at every cutscene, and I felt emotionally invested in the story. The good news is that if you're not up to date with demonic princes and powers have been vanquished in the game, gone by, and which are still very much out there, even if potentially trapped in soulstones, Diablo IV doesn't require any foreknowledge. In fact, I played the campaign with a friend that had no knowledge of Diablo or its lore, and he was as impressed with the story as I was. It quickly establishes through an unbelievably gorgeous opening cinematic there's a new baddie in the world of Sanctuary, Lilith, daughter of Mephisto and an all-around bad apple. She's come back thanks to some greedy Nephilims and is here to do absolutely no good whatsoever. So it's up to your player character to stop her, with the help of an assortment of variously doomed side characters. You'll meet cast members trying to figure out what Lilith is up to and how to stop her. And Diablo IV continues the series' habit of killing these nice people off with abandon, a la George R.R. Martin, making for some fun, dark moments. On the storytelling side, the game's storytelling is much improved over its predecessors thanks to a higher frequency of in-game cutscenes that look fantastic, with your character's custom look and armor all present and correct within the cutscene and a decent range of emotions on show. Blizzard's pre-rendered cinematics are second to none, but cannot bring that immersive touch, so it's nice to play through Diablo IV while seeing and hearing so much from my character. It's the technical side of things that really feels like a leap forward for Diablo IV. In fact, even if some of the trappings of the game will feel super familiar to those who sunk hours into Diablo III. First, an impossible to ignore factor is the game is always online, requiring an always-on connection to function properly, and this brings with it some significant drawbacks. Back in the game's beta periods, there were a rare handful of times when we were told to wait an hour to get from the main menu into the game. That was a big issue on the face of it, but by the time I got my hands on the game during its, for me due to my time zone, June 6th launch, it only had a few hours of the first day with significant wait times to log in. By significant, I mean sometimes as long as 10 minutes. By no stretch near the hour wait times of the beta. Even now, one weekend, disconnects can feel frequent at times, and ending your game session, meanwhile, is now an imprecise matter. You'll quit the game without being able to create a manual save, and when you turn it back on, it's a bit of a lucky dip as to where you'll be loaded in and with what degree of repeated progress required. I am glad I am not playing hardcore. Last night I suffered from a disconnect, and about 1 second later was told in Discord that my character had died. Lucky for me, I got to reload the character and started off near my friends with no hard feelings. If I were a hardcore character, however, I think I would either A, never play hardcore again, or B, uninstall the game. That's just me though. Everyone is different in their reaction to unfortunate and unfair events. Each time it happens, there's no denying the annoyance it causes, but I am not in the camp that wants an offline mode. I think a persistent connection is necessary to maintain the integrity of the game. This is 2023, not 1998. Everyone should have easy, dare I say it even, free access to the internet. I live in Vietnam, where there is strong and stable Wi-Fi literally, and I do mean literally, everywhere. Also, online persistence means that the world feels alive in a way that had me basically feeling a bit like I was on a small World of Warcraft server at times, with other players buzzing around and in-world events to take part in together for dopamine-inducing rewards. This also means that co-op is easier than ever and so simple to swing into action with, while same-screen action is also accounted for handily. If those technical annoyances sound troubling, it's important to add the context that they haven't stopped me at all from absolutely sinking into Diablo IV, bouncing from Warframe onto a new obsession with barely a gap. So, for those worried, This is Diablo back near the peak of its powers in my opinion, with loads of friction sanded away to make the experience smooth as a baby's bottom. Hack and slash combat is rarely this satisfying, with cooldowns to juggle and synergies just waiting to be discovered. Each class offering up so many of these options that it gets mind-boggling quickly if you start to track combinations you'd like to try. A redesigned skill tree is simpler to navigate and easy to reassign for new builds and experiments. And finishing the game's lengthy campaign does indeed leave you wondering if you should start again with a new class immediately. The skill system is far better than its predecessor, Diablo III, which is great news for me. I have invested thousands of hours into games like Path of Exile, and I still don't understand that game. Diablo IV is a breath of fresh air, where casual and having to take a college-length course to understand intercept. Mobs of enemies are plentiful and generally easy to mulch through, but you can easily up the difficulty of your entire realm if you want a stiffer challenge and a greater reward. The difference between the first two world tiers is noticeable and makes things immediately more rewarding and challenging. The world of Diablo IV is also massive, with a range of distinct and different areas to get through, some huge bosses to fight with fun mechanics, and some really involved and well-designed dungeons, alongside procedurally generated, endlessly looping ones. I'm a huge fan of how easy things have been made, too. A new emote wheel includes the ability to teleport out of dungeons at any time, while nipping to town and back into the depths for a quick run to the blacksmith or merchant is just as easy as Diablo 3. The addiction factor is back and couldn't be more powerful too. Even as I give this review to you, I am tired from staying up way past my bedtime to play this game, knowing full and well that I have to go to work in the morning. But that's not nighttime me's problem. That's for morning me to deal with. Morning me really hates nighttime me, which reminds me, I'm a full-time teacher. I teach in both public and private schools and have to work a lot and think about my job a lot. A kind gesture like subscribing to my channel would go a long way with me. It would be a great encouragement to keep at this YouTube thing and know people are getting something from this time I take to make these videos. Thank you very much. I appreciate it more than I can articulate without sounding like a dweeb. Back to my review. Loot fountains are as compelling as ever. The powers and variables they offer are beguiling as possible, and the rarest tiers of loot are kept back really intelligently to ensure that these truly feel special when they do spawn. You can now change your armor's look without any limits whatsoever too, so long as you've salvaged one piece to get the design into your wardrobe, which makes fashion even more malleable than ever. I played Diablo IV on PC, and it was graphically nice and impressive, with many ways to tune as a PC game usually has. There are stutters here and there, but mostly occur when teleporting into town. I have never experienced a graphical stutter while killing demons. This is a good-looking game that might not necessarily blow you away with its fidelity, but won me over thanks to its attention to detail. The world of Sanctuary is once again as dark and brooding as players demanded back during Diablo III's reveal, and its winding mines and blood-splattered ruins are impressively grim. Dungeons feel rewarding to explore, but the thing that really ties the whole world together is how reactive it is. Every bit of set dressing can be broken apart and scattered, sometimes for a small pile of loot, but more often just for the sheer fun of it. This ensures that rooms are left in chaos after a fight, and the sound design that accompanies each reaction is so satisfying. From crunches to wood clatters to chests opening. Playing as a druid, my animal morphs were rewardingly kinetic and impressive, and when the screen filled with enemies, I didn't notice any slowdown in the frame count. I also want to shout out the audio design. Using a high-end Astro headset, dungeons feel claustrophobic and expansive in equal measure, and every sound is nice and precisely located in the mix. My verdict is that Diablo IV feels like a welcome return for the series, a game that promises almost a limitless amount of content for those who want to really sink into its endgame, but with a fantastic campaign for those who want a more finite experience. It looks and sounds great, the classes are extremely fun to experiment with, and it's all suffused as you'd hope with a layer of grim darkness to make for a gothic good time. Co-op is fantastic too. Diablo IV has fully sunk its teeth into me, so if you'll excuse me, I need to get in game. My friends are waiting.